Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, January 25th, 2024, with boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $sign ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NHL action this Thursday afternoon. The New Jersey Devils versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop is going to be here in just about a minute. Let's go, baby. And I'm ready. And on the thumb, I had to hit you with something a little bit different since we obviously have some injuries to a few players and stars like Jack Hughes. So instead of Jack Hughes, since he's on IR, we're going to hit you up with Jesper Bratt. I got you on the left. And on the right, we got Mr. Everything for Carolina, leading in points, goals, and assists, Sebastian Aho. Let's go. And the images are big. They're nice and crisp. This one took me a little while to get done, but I think it turned out pretty fantastic. Let's go. I'm ready. And then we got the spinning logo, obviously, of the Hurricanes there, and then the Devils. And I just got done playing a period of NHL 2002 on my PS2 where I actually did this matchup with the Devils and the Hurricanes. I was up 3-0 in the first, and I even wore the throwback unis, the alternates there, like in this particular photo by Jesper. Let's go. It's always good to be able to get into that mode. Aiden in the building, what's good? Daniel in the building, what's good? Let's go. And then we'll end up doing Kraken tomorrow against the Blues at 7 p.m. Then we're going to do Royal Rumble on Saturday. Excited about that. And then we'll do the AFC NFC Championship games on Sunday. Aiden in the building, Daniel in the building, Sarah in the building. Let's go. Jesper Bratt on the left, Sebastian Aho on the right. Let's go. I'm ready. Hopefully this ends up being a competitive matchup, which I think it will be. And again, when the Kraken aren't playing, I'm always going to go to Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, New Jersey Devils first. And I haven't got a chance to do Carolina all year besides the playoffs from last year. So I'm definitely excited to see if the Devils can match up. And obviously, we know with the Devils, at this point, they're in fourth in the Metropolitan Division. Carolina actually is in second. So they're kind of looking up at a team that they're going to have to kind of battle with as we get later into the season after the All-Star break and the trade deadline. Air Jordan in the building. What's good? What's good? How are you? I'm excited about the Rumble as well. And I did some digging, and I've been telling y'all, I watched a lot of NASCAR and a lot of NHL when I was younger, but I did have about a 10 or 15-year break where I felt like I didn't really have anyone to kind of vibe with. So, once you end up, not working with the same boss, or you don't have that friend that you grew up with that really loved a particular team, or, made you want to watch NHL or NASCAR, and maybe they're not a part of your life anymore. And sometimes if you don't have other people, to kind of vibe with, sometimes it takes a little bit of a back seat. But I did end up finding the only starting lineup that I have for the NHL side in the package. And this was when I was 12 years old. And I found it. I did some digging last night. So my players back in the day, obviously Gretzky was always awesome to watch. But I was a little bit more of a Mario Lemieux guy. And then I ended up loving Gretzky and Lemieux equally. But I don't have any Gretzky starting lineups, but I do have a 1994 Mario Lemieux. Not really worth anything, probably about $10 to $20, but still, just the fact that I have it and it's in the package with the card, kind of cool. As you can see here, as long as it doesn't get really into the glare, there's going to be a little bit. There you go, a little glare action, dog. But I thought that was kind of cool to be able to find that. And then, I did see the whole Vince McMahon stuff. It's unbelievable. But that doesn't really surprise me, does it? Does it surprise you? We already knew that there was a lot of allegations against Vince, kind of using his power and his status, against other the females that were either working as wrestlers or behind the scenes. So, obviously having to separate yourself, from the TKO and the other branch, and trying to, be able to not have a black eye. necessarily on the WWF slash WWE, but I know a lot of things have been leaked on Twitter slash X and based off supposed text messages or this and that or emails or whatnot. But yeah, pretty crazy. But the back of this 1994 starting lineup has got Luke Robitaille from the Kings, Jaromir Jagr from the Penguins, Jeremy Roenick from the Blackhawks, Ray Bourque from the Bruins, right? Arturs Irbe from the Sharks, Brett Hull on the Blues, Mike Richter on the Rangers, and Steve Yzerman on the Red Wings. So anytime you can end up going through those old school names, and let's see if I can pull it up so you guys can see it. But dude, it is incredible to be able to go through and just see, some of the other figures of those old school names. I mean, I know we're in 2024. This is from 1994. Pretty wild. 30 years old. It's just cool that I had the sense, even back in the day, even if I, bought it for like $5, yeah, sometimes you're going to want to have doubles or just, keep it in the package if the box and everything looks pretty clean. And, I didn't expect it to be worth a whole lot because it's not like a rookie piece on the starting lineup, but still a cool find in my collection, something that's worth about 10 or $20. And I know I got some starting lineup loose ones, but this is the only one that I decided to say, you know what? I need to keep at least something Mario Lemieux in the package. And that was me at 12. So pretty cool. Defecated on her head. Oh, well, it sounds like with the reports with Vince and John and Brock Lesnar and whoever else. And the sad thing is this female that came out to try to, either, get money, get the truth and get money. I don't think anyone really thinks she's trying to like give Vince a bad name. Vince already has a bad name. We are just waiting and waiting for all the people to be able to speak up to find out the despicable things that this guy has done. But pretty much all the nasty, supposed stuff that he did or other people did. I wish I would like to say that, oh, I'm surprised, but I'm not. I mean, I think everyone has kind of known that he's kind of a dirtbag and whatnot. And I don't even know if Shane and Stephanie knew to what extent what their dad is, but again, when you have money and you have power, then you start losing in touch of reality when you feel that you're untouchable. And I feel that a lot of these celebrities and people, athletes, and people in Hollywood, once you get to a certain point where, if you're making millions and millions or billions, you know what I mean, and you have a little bit of, a little bit of move, a little bit of power, on what you can, do and whatnot. And then you get the people that abuse the power, and you get some sick shit like that comes out. So, yeah, terrible. Yeah, but that's like some of the coolest things whenever I see these old school figures from the 80s and 90s, because I have a lot from 88, which was the first year, 89, 90. Those are usually the ones that are worth the most, unless you have like a rookie Kobe piece or a rookie Iverson piece, things like that. And there's like different variations, but some came with the card, some came with the card and the coin, some came with the card and the poster. And I got every Ken Griffey Jr. one in extended series. So I got all my Ken Griffey Juniors in the package, and I got like, I don't know, 10 or 15, all the way from the very first year, like, in 89, all the way to the last year starting lineup. Had their deal 2000, and then 2001, Todd McFarlane and Spawn, who did the comics, he ended up buying the rights of baseball, basketball, football, hockey, and NASCAR, and pretty much McFarlane has owned the sports market since then. So it's pretty much him. But prior to that, if you wanted to get a figure, and the cool thing is about starting lineups is just they're smaller. Now, McFarlane has more details, but McFarlane doesn't come with cards or a coin or a poster, and I think that's really what made them so iconic. Are the coins and the cards and the posters with the starting lineups worth a lot of money? Fuck no. I just actually went through a binder that said 1989 football Orion. And I decided just to, open it up to see what was in there. And I know there's nothing good in there because I already picked through it years and years and years ago, but it was cool to be able to see 89 pro set, 90 score pro set, and seeing a few years. And then I even had some basketball and baseball cards randomly from like Upper Deck and other brands just mixed in there and whatnot. Because I actually ended up finding about 7 or 8 of my old binders with sleeves. Most of the stuff in there is literally worthless. There's going to be a few gems that are in there that might be worth like $1 to $5, but most of the stuff is like penny cards, 5 cents. But just to be able to see the names, and I went through the pages of the Packers and the Chiefs and the Colts and a lot of y'all, and it kind of gave me like a little memory spark, of all your guys' favorite players and also players that maybe you guys never watched back when you were a kid, or you watched, but it's been a long, long time, or you remembered them. But a lot of obscure kind of jobber names mixed in with some legends in those cards, and definitely was a good kind of throwback moment for me. Boom, just like that. Carolina 1, New Jersey 0 within the first minute. My goodness. Damn, like that. Aiden's in the building. Odin's in the building. Sarah's in the building. Yeah. McFarlane is awesome. I mean, I got a lot of McFarlane stuff. Like the two most expensive McFarlane figures I own, I have a Chase Jerry Rice that came out like in the second or third year of McFarlane that was supposed to be Raiders, when Jerry Rice went to the Super Bowl against my Bucks. But if you were lucky enough, you got the rare Jerry Rice 49er version. And that's obviously the one that I wanted to invest in. They have one that has a black belt that's worth like 150 to 200, and then they have one that's even more rare that has the gold belt. And if you have that one, then oh baby, that one's worth about $100 more. So it's usually 150 to $200 figure, the one that I have, and then the next one is like 250 to 350 range if you have the more rare one. So I got the Jerry Rice, about 150, 200. And then my most expensive one is I got a Ken Griffey Jr. Chase figure where he's supposed to be in the Reds. And this was at the very first stage, and he's climbing a wall, got stunner shades, and it has the wall included in the package, except I got the Chase Mariners version, of course. And that one usually goes for over 300 just by itself, usually 250 to 350. So between the two figures alone, about 5 stacks, about 500. But they're two of the most rare and two of the most coveted in each sport. For the baseball, the Griffey is one of the most coveted, and then obviously the Jerry Rice Niners one is one of the most coveted. Besides the rookie Tom Brady snow piece, that one actually has a limited edition where it has actual snow on the base. And if you were lucky enough to get one of those usually run for over 500. So if you were lucky enough to get one of those Brady's early on, I tried investing in one, but I got my friend to buy one when I got my Jerry Rice, but then he had bills come up and he had to sell it. But I was hoping to buy it off him for like a couple hundred. I wasn't going to spend 5, but if I can get a Tom Brady McFarlane rookie piece with the snow for like 350, 300, knowing that it's worth 500, $600, yeah. But I wasn't able to get it though. 1-0 Carolina, and you already know who it is, Sebastian Aho, the guy that's leading in everything for Carolina. You got to make sure you're limiting Sebastian, otherwise he's going to get goals, assists, points, all of the above. 1-0 Carolina. That was way too quick. Megan in the building. What's good? Sting Auto. That's cool. The Jesper Bratt one's pretty dope too. And plus, when you got a player that's leading in everything, like a superstar, I remember watching him last season quite a bit, and and once he gets going, it's very hard to stop him. He's very involved. It's like with Nathan McKinnon getting fucking 4 goals. Was that last night or the night before? My God. I mean, you could definitely tell who the superstars are in the NHL. Smash the like button, baby. And then hopefully I can find more gems, but I know this is the only one. This is the only one that I got, 1994 edition. Still good condition though, and the card that it comes with is in pretty clean shape too. But I'm not sure what's cooler, the front or the back. And the goalie ones have the removable masks, which are very, very cool. those little subtle details, like the mask that you can put on the figure and take it off. Obviously, you'd have to open up the figure to do that, but pretty cool, pretty neat. I'm always looking for those subtle details, and that's why I always love starting lineups from back in the day with the football, because you could actually take the helmet off of the player and pose it next to the player and whatnot. I thought that was really cool. I'm a nerd like that for toys. What can I say? Especially if it's toys related to sports or superhero stuff, Star Wars or Marvel or DC or basketball, baseball, football, hockey. Give me some starting lineups and McFarland's. I'll be happy. All right, 1-0 Carolina. Sebastian Aho. Aho. 1-0 Hurricanes. But I figured I'd dig that out just because I've been wanting to find it and dig through some of my old wrestling figures, and figured I would share that to you. Some stuff that I'll share, is going to be very, very rare, very, very collectible, worth, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But then sometimes it's just going to be something just kind of, not the craziest thing, not the most rare, but just still cool that, I'm 41 years old, and I got that when I was, 12 years old, or a very, very long time ago. I was 12 when it came out, and it's still in the package. So it shows you, as a collector, if you take care of your shit, you can still have stuff one day as long as it doesn't get destroyed or sold, or given away. But I really appreciate being able to find stuff like that, because of course, like, could I go on eBay or whatever and buy that for $5 or $10 or $15? Of course, or a loose one for cheaper. But sometimes it's the packaging that makes it elite. What it comes with and what it looks like, and that it actually still exists on the cardboard. And I'm excited. We got the Blues and the Kraken tomorrow. Royal Rumble's on Saturday. Very excited about that. And then AFC, NFC championship game. So we're going to have a lot of fun in the next few days. So. Well, obviously, I didn't want to lose Canales from Tampa, but we couldn't score any points on Carolina. But no one wants to go to Carolina. So that was like literally the best that they could get, maybe a year early. Because obviously, if Canales stayed, then the following year, there would be more coaching jobs that would be available for him, and Canales could go to somewhere other than Carolina. But if he can at least get his coaching started now and see what he can do with Bryce, it's still going to be a bad team. But then eventually maybe Canales can get a better job somewhere else. But again, not very many of the high-profile coaches want to go to Carolina because of their owner and the way that the team sits currently. I think that's fair to say. So in essence, I didn't like losing my guy at OC. And, for Carolina, their fans are going to be pissed with the hire. But in reality, Canales is kind of like a Slowick or like a Ben Johnson. He's that guy. If you look what he did with Baker and where Canales has been with all of his quarterbacks, Geno and Baker, he knows how to be able to call plays. But he has to have the personnel to be successful. And even sometimes when he has the personnel, he will struggle. Because, I had Mike Evans. I had Godwin. And sometimes his play calling was a little sus, But I don't like losing my guy. But, again, Panthers fans aren't going to like the hire. But, again, he is kind of a sleeper Ben Johnson, Slowick kind of guy, except he's just not getting as much pub. If he was able to coach for Tampa one more year, and then the rumors come out that he's going to be a head coach, I think that he would have more pub and more love next year. But it's kind of a sleeper hire. But the sad thing is that they're not good enough for him to probably make it. So he'll probably just be the scapegoat at some point. But hopefully he can develop a little chemistry in Bryce Young and give him the swag and the confidence, and then hopefully they can bring in some pieces where at least Canales can show you he can do more with Bryce than what the previous guy did. So hopefully that'll be good for them. And then for Raheem, like I said, he's been a head coach for Tampa. He's been a head coach before. You saw him doing the interim thing, Rams and everything. But I feel that with him, he's not going to necessarily be a successful head coach. It's cool that he's getting an opportunity. But the same thing's going to happen with him as he'll last a couple of years and they'll fire him. But maybe that they'll trade for Justin Fields. And if you bring Fields with him together, I could see the brothers working together. And I could see that if the Bears were to move on and draft Caleb and they traded Justin Fields to a team, who would be the number one team for them to trade to? In my opinion, the best fit is Atlanta. Because you already got pieces there. You got Bijan, you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts. You need the offensive line actually is pretty good. They have two guys, on the line that, through PFF standards are pretty solid. So, but they still need to improve the other three spots and then the defense. But I mean, if we're just talking about the Falcons and what they have with Ritter and, Heineke for Meineke and then getting Justin Fields, are you going to lose games still? Yes, but Justin Fields will lose games in more of a swaggy fashion. He'll be able to give you some plays with his legs. He'll give you some plays with his arm. The fan base obviously will cheer for him and root for him. I think he would look good in the uniform. And like I said, I think a lot of the people in the South will connect with him. And I think, like I said, that would be something where if you just wanted to put butts in the seats, but you're not going to be like 12, 13, 14 win team. You're probably not going to win the division, but there is a chance that if they play well and they do well in the draft, maybe, the Falcons can be a 10-7 team sooner than later if they get him in the trade. So we'll see if that ends up becoming true or not. But that is a particular scenario maybe for Justin Fields could go, and he'd be more successful there than he is currently right now with the Chicago Bears. Daniel in the building. What's good? 1-0 Carolina. Less than 14 minutes to go in the first period. New Jersey kind of got punched in the mouth by Sebastian Ayo right out of the gates. But again, when you get someone that's going to be leading in points and goals and assists, the trifecta, you better make sure you got your head on a swivel that whole game. And Carolina's second in the division. So New Jersey's looking up, and they got to make sure they stay focused or this could get ugly. Let's do it. Yeah, I wish I had more of the old school starting lineups, but at least I had the awareness, back when I was 12, like 30 years ago, that, hey, this might be cool, just to hang on to, even if it's only a couple dollars now. It's like it never was going to be for like the value. Otherwise, I would have tried to get all like the rookie pieces, like the first Gretzky, the first Lemieux, like when they first came out, like in '88. But at that point, I would have been like six. So, and a lot of times when you get toys, you want to bust them open, right? Oh, big hit there. Yespa. Ooh, got him right in the chin. Better pay attention, especially when you get yourself exposed when you're going for the puck and you're right on the boards. You're just asking for someone to give you a shoulder check right in the mouth or right in the chin. All right, Devils, you got to score. Big hits, four for each team. Carolina playing very aggressive. They're playing like they are the second best team in the division. Nice save. Oh, they're getting chippy. Let's go. Jab, jab, jab them. Oh, they're starting to get a little frisky out there. We're going to have a fight at some point. Now, sometimes we just got to be able to find, what we're going to be happy with and what we enjoy, And like I said, it's like if we have these like other things other than football and wrestling that we're going to dive into, like I said, it's like maybe we want to do NASCAR and maybe we want to, occasionally, try to do the NBA, but it's all about like what kind of results are we going to get if we do these things. So sometimes there's going to be events that, we're going to want to do, but again, at the end of the day, if we're not getting the proper people, or if it's just not the proper support, then we have to make sure we're calculated with everything. But I actually like doing more NHL than NBA. And then if NASCAR presents itself, cool, but I'm not expecting it. And then it's pretty much going to be a lot of heavy baseball with the NHL after the NFL season's over. So it'll be like wrestling, NHL, and then obviously MLB. And then if we sprinkle in a race here and there, I wouldn't mind. But I guess it all depends if we can get some good results on that. Power play, baby. All right, Jersey, here's your chance. Hughes, Bratt, Hesher, Meyer, Toffoli. All right, Devils, here's your chance. End of the first period, Boston 1, Ottawa 0. Judah's happy about that. I haven't got a chance to do a Bruins game yet this year, but at some point we'll definitely do a Bruins matchup for Judah. But Carolina is as good as I remember them from last season. So very crisp, good team, aggressive, no fear. Let's go. And obviously the Devils no Jack Hughes, so that's obviously gonna be a little bit harder to be able to get wins when you got one of your best players not even playing. But it's still doable. I mean, they ended up playing the Vegas Golden Knights with Jack Eichel, and they ended up winning 6-5 in OT. So I mean, you can find ways as long as you have depth on the roster. But I mean, it's very difficult when you don't got your first or second best player playing for sure. Less than a minute left in the power play. Come on now. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well. Less than 10 minutes to go in the first period. Carolina 1, New Jersey 0. Oh, good pass. Now let's try to get to 10, and then once we get to 10, let's try to get to 20 if we have enough people. It definitely helps with the analytics and the algorithms and whatnot. Full strength, baby. Ooh, so close. Good defense there. Only one shot on that power play, and it really wasn't that good of a shot either. Carolina's defense is legit. Carolina out there trying to hurt somebody. Thanks for sharing there on the Twitter X part. Appreciate that. And anything else that you want to be able to go over, please do. Yeah, it's good. There's still names out there. We don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see what direction. I mean, the most natural order for it all would be Commanders, then Johnson. Swirlick goes to the Hawks, because I don't think that they're going to go Bill Belichick. And then those are the last two hires. That's what I would assume what they would do. But we'll see. I mean, I know some Hawks fans are hoping for Johnson, but we'll see. What availability and where people go, or if one has to go and then the next will get hired. But I mean, arguably the two guys that haven't been hired yet might be the two of the best, or they have a chance to maybe break through in a couple years, if not right away. So sometimes you got to wait to see what's available. And I mean, hell, if the two best haven't signed just yet, that's a good sign for the two teams that need a coach. I mean, Belichick is there, but you don't really, if it was me, I would rather, go for Johnson and Swirlick rather than going for Belichick. So I don't think, you already know what you're going to get out of Belichick. He's already, for him, it's just going to be collecting a paycheck. You're not going to be able to get wins. Less than 9 minutes to go, 1-0 Hurricanes. Less than 6 minutes. 7 shots on goal for each team so far. Pretty crisp for Carolina. New Jersey kind of playing on their heels a little bit, but they are on the road and they're shorthanded. So good pass. So what's on the slate for Royal Rumble? Like the matches and everything. Have you been keeping up and watching Raw and SmackDown and NXT week in and week out? Have you missed some? Have you been keeping up? What's going to be the best thing? I mean, obviously we know the Rumble is going to be the best part for men's and women's, but Judah in the building. How are you, bro? Boston 1, Ottawa 0 so far. That's good for you in the second period. Quite a bit of NBA that's on right now too. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first period. Carolina 1, New Jersey 0. Devils need to either get into a power play or find a way to be able to get a 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 here to be able to tie it up. That was wide. Orton, AJ, LA Knight, and Roman for the belt. Here we go. Odin's son. He's like, oh, this is where I'm a professional. Let me get in here. So do we actually think that anybody but Roman is going to win, honestly? Obviously, if they built it up, you're not going to have Roman just drop it into some random thing, even though Royal Rumble isn't random. But come on, Devil, show me something. So what's our vibe? What are we feeling? How good the Rumble is going to be? We feel the Rumble is going to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year like it is every year. Hell, sometimes it ends up being better than SummerSlam and WrestleMania, depending on what kind of surprises we get in the Rumble. Like what kind of surprise are we going to get in the Rumble? Are we going to see like a Mercedes Monet, like a Sasha Banks type of name? Are we going to get something that big and crazy? Or is it just going to be a bunch of like old, wrestlers from long, long, long ago? It'll be interesting. Yeah, but I like I said, I love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. I'll never stop watching it. I'll never stop collecting the figures and the accessories, stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and current. Even elite figures and Japanese figures, whatever it may be. But I definitely want to be able to do more than just one a month. So I am kind of excited about the Netflix deal. So that gives us an opportunity that if things are slow in the sports world or it's not football season, that we can do Monday Night Raw on Netflix together and watch it. I think that would be a cool live stream to do. And is every Raw that we do a live stream for going to be good? No. Some of them are going to be bad and some will be average or just, below average or above average, but not like a 7. But there's going to be some that'll be close to a pay-per-view. And we'll have a good time watching, whether it'll be an 8, 9, or a 10, depending on if you get something big that happens like a debut of like a CM Punk or like a Randy Orton or something that makes it a little bit more memorable, or like a Iron Man match, 60 minutes, something like that. So he said, I know this is old news. Yeah. Oh, of course. And she had some mental health stuff and then ended up doing things that probably she would have not done. And, and then obviously being with, Stephanie and trying to do that behind her back and everything instead of just telling her. And, but again, it's like you'll see a lot of females in wrestling, but Nicole Bass, back in the day, if you remember her, she was kind of blonde, brown hair, and she had the physique like a China. But I don't think anyone was more swaggier or more believable that could actually wrestle the dudes like on the European hardcore and IC level, where she can actually body slam a dude and it actually looks believable. And there was moments that you're going to see any female be a little stiff in the ring, but for her and the image, with DX and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and obviously X Pac and Six Pac and Road Dogg and Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. And you would think down with that, I got 2 words for you. Yeah, it's always cool to go back in time though to be able to see some of the old school matches. And I got memorabilia. I don't have any kind of figures that are loose, but I have to look to see if I have her in a box set with something else that I have. But I don't think I have. I got Triple H. I got some Shawn Michaels stuff that I've given away to Justin because that's like sports wrestling god to him. Like he loves HBK. Like Shawn Michaels, just like Lenny D, like same kind of level, like godlike. But I'm more of a Bret Hart kind of guy, more like heel and technical. And I still love what Shawn Michaels did. Don't get me wrong. But I'm more NWO than DX, and he's more DX than NWO. So you're going to be more biased for Shawn Michaels, and I'm going to be more for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Hogan, and what they brought with the Wolfpack and the black and white. So, but I do got like an old school Road Dogg and Badass Billy Gunn figure from the '90s. That I ended up getting off Preston, and going through some other people's collections because I want to make sure that I have some of those pieces, either the ones that I grew up or ones that I can have a part as my shoebox loose collection. Good old Road Dog. Yeah, well, even back before Triple H was Terra, Terra Rising. They had all kinds of names for him, and different, like just like when you see, Stunning Steve Austin. Like sometimes, you can have a hair, you can have a mustache, you can have a certain look, but you can have these different gimmicks. But sometimes you do got to shave your head. Sometimes you got to grow a mustache or a beard. Like sometimes, you have to be able to match up your look with the gimmick and how much of it is like you. Like, are you? Is this like more like authentic? And I feel that's why with Stone Cold and The Rock, we're able to succeed above and beyond a lot of other people, except for like a Hogan or a Macho Man, because those guys are icons and legends that were before. But again, to be on the Hogan Macho Man level on the microphone, you would have to be pretty damn good. And obviously with The Rock and Stone Cold, once they were able to be kind of themselves and be kind of like confident, arrogant heel. But even though some of the stuff that they say is, obviously, the wrestling part, but it's not like they don't feel that way, where they got that swagger, where they feel they are the best, and they have something, that's special to bring to the table and they can out talk anybody, And obviously, Rock could make it into more of like funny moments. And, Stone Cold, had that natural swagger. Perfect time in wrestling for both of those two. And it's not like you're going to see anyone like that ever again with that kind of pop, that kind of energy. I mean, Stone Cold and Rock might have been the last two like megastar people in wrestling. I mean, there's going to be other guys that are popular, other guys that are good, but I don't think you're going to get anybody as big or as iconic. We had the Hogan, we had the Macho Man, we had the Undertaker, for the icon, and what he was, and he didn't have to talk, that much. He was just a persona, best original character in wrestling ever, Undertaker. But as far as talkers, MJF is a great talker, but he's not as good of a wrestler as The Rock and Stone Cold. And I like MJF. You know what I mean? But like MJF isn't going to make every single person get out of their seat and watch a 30-minute match of him. He's not that good. Like he's good. You know what I mean? He has one of the better wrestlers that's out there, but he doesn't do anything in the ring that makes you be like, wow, I have to watch his matches. It's not like a different type of Bryan Danielson or Kenny Omega or Seth Rollins when you have like some signature moves and there might be a little bit more of a reason to watch those guys. That's I feel with MJF, I don't think he's a scrub, but he doesn't do anything in the ring that makes you go, oh my god, I can't wait to watch his next match. It's cool that he's got the belt. Like he's known for being able to talk shit on the mic, right? But as far as what he does in the ring, it's like your in-ring skills are like a 7.5, but your mic skills are like an 11, but you don't really do anything for me in the ring. Like it's not like Stone Cold and Rock where it's like you're going to be entertained right when you hear that glass shatter, or once you start hearing the entrance for The Rock back in the day. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, they did. Oh, I love the toys and the accessories. Oh, wrestling Beanie Babies. I'm more about the figures, LJNs and all the harder figures, from my childhood in the late '80s, early '90s, like Hasbro, and then going into the other figures like in the NWODX era, where you would squeeze the legs and then it would do another motion, or you squeeze the arms and it would do a motion. Those are really cool. Then they had some of the softer figures, and then the evolution of like standard figures from like 2000 to current, or like elites, the ones that cost like 20 to 30 bucks when you go to like Kmart or Toys R Us or, Fred Meyer or Target, or you go somewhere and you see those figures that have the extra belt, or they have an extra t-shirt or extra hands, extra microphone, anything that has the accessories, obviously that's going to be their top of the line stuff. And, obviously if you end up paying attention, you can get rare stuff. And obviously if you get a good mint condition box, you can end up getting a $25 figure, but if it's mint, someone will pay 50 to 60 or 70. So it's like if you can really find the well conditioned box, like you can flip a $25 figure for 50. Just like kind of in the card game when people get cards graded, and you don't even need to send the figure to get graded. But again, a box that is mint, you easily can double or triple your money through the toy collector scene. It's just either you recognize that or you don't. So I might have to check that out. Do they have anything other than the Beanie Babies, like the actual figures? And LJNs were before my time, but those ones are worth a shitload. Let's do that. Two more. Let's get to 10. Shout out to the people watching on Twitter/X. Yes. I always like the backstory stuff for sure. Yeah, and anytime Stone Cold does shows where, like, he goes and he does jobs kind of like Micro, where he did dirty jobs, and Stone Cold would have different shows, and I would watch them, and they would write to him, and he's like, "Oh, try doing this," being a helicopter pilot, or test driving these like supercars, and I don't know. He's a good host, and I feel like Stone Cold has a very genuine kind of personality about him, and he definitely has a little roughneck style in him, but he likes to be outdoors with like respect. You know what I mean? And he's not afraid to try things. And that's another thing too. It's like you have to be confident in who you are, knowing that you might fail, but you're going to still have fun along the way, even if other people on the show beat you or you look like an idiot sometimes. I mean, you're not going to be a pro at everything trying it for the first time, but or have them go fishing and doing certain types of things in those shows. But yeah, Stone Cold is the man. Like some of my favorite figures in my collection are Stone Cold, like stuff from the '90s, and I even have a Japanese Stone Cold in the box, and it probably is my coolest wrestling figure I own. Maybe not the most valuable, but it is one of the right. And it's got extra hands, three sets of heads that you can detach and put on with different like poses of him, like angry or mouth open and frowning or whatever, different hands, middle finger, and but the best one is it actually comes with all these extra things in the belt and everything else, and multiple heads, multiple hands. But the best thing is it comes with two cans of beer, right? And there's special hands that are made for the beer to slide into, and then there is beer coming out of the beer can. So you actually place it like he's drinking the beer, and then the beer is falling like into his face, and he's like drinking it like he did, and you can see it like the drizzle on it. It's awesome. Like it's like I've never seen. I mean, there's no American figure that's ever done the beer, and so that already put that figure to me on like a 10 out of 10. And I remember when Toys R Us was closing, they were going for like 40 or 50 a pop, and I went through like all of them to try to find the one that was the most mint, because obviously out of like 5-6 copies, they're not going to last. And I want to make sure I get one. And again, if you get a $50 figure, but it ends up being mint, you could easily get over 100 for it. But I don't usually do them to sell. Just grab those cool items that most people don't have. I got to find it for you guys. You guys would love it. But I've never taken it out of the box though. Yes, the Bone Crunch figures. Yes, yes. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff here. I got the NWO figures. I got Hogan. I got the guardrail. I got Nash. I got Hall. I got Wolfpack Sting. I got DDP. In that particular series, a lot of the stuff that came out, those ones were Toy Biz, and Toy Biz. You squeeze the legs. They're kind of like Ghostbuster figures from like the '80s, where you squeeze the legs, and then there's other motions that happen, and I love stuff like that. Some wrestlers, nice. I actually just looked at my some wrestlers last night. That's hilarious. I have two. Yeah, I got Hogan, and I got Junkyard Dog, and they used to have like Iron Sheik and everything back then. And these, I mean, they're old. They're like in the '80s and whatnot. I love wrestling toys, man. Like it's like probably like besides like I like going to the Mariner games and getting like the actual game bobble. That makes it like exciting for me. Old school vintage Hot Wheels and the Lego vehicles, or Matchbox stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I asked my dad, I was like, I don't know if like we're time travelers or whatever, but like I was born in '82, so you would think most of my Hot Wheels and Matchbox would be from what 83 to 90, but a lot of the stuff is like from like before I was born, and that doesn't make any sense. It's not like my dad was going to like garage sales. It's like he was buying the toys as I was growing up, like at Toys R Us or at Kmart or Target or Fred Meyer and whatnot. But those are always kind of cool. But and then starting lineups, McFarlane's, But I like the wrestling accessories too, like the old school stuff. Some of the best accessories are going to be from like the 80s and 90s, especially with like Cactus Jack and Mankind with like the dumpster and then the toilets and the chairs and the brooms and all that stuff. I got that dumpster full of this massive stuff. Like you'd be surprised, a dumpster full of wrestling accessories from the 80s and 90s, like that could end up being worth hundreds of dollars because people are always wanting to add to their displays or get something from back in the day like that. Oh, they should. I saw a really cool thing about NWO with like Cena, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Like if they were gonna, have Hogan come in, or if they were gonna have different people, if they were gonna like recreate the NWO. Obviously, you would have to, throw in Steiner's boy. You'd have to have him in there. Don't know if we're ever going to get that NWO ever again, though, and it's not going to hit the same way that it would have if Cena would have went heel in like 2012, 2010, 2012 at that point, But of course, when you're doing the Make a Wish Foundation, you can't really be like fuck them kids when you're like the fucking biggest face that they've ever seen prior to Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamaniacs. I mean, John Cena literally was that level. So, but again, if we would have been able to see that heel turn, that would have been one of the five biggest moments in wrestling, just like when Hogan turned heel and then went to NWO and the black and white. I mean, I'll never forget that, especially when you have someone that's face, good, never goes heel, never does anything dirty, never does anything shady for the kids, for the people, America, Hulkamaniacs, right? Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, and then Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, NWO. And then it's like, I thought I loved Hulk Hogan, and then I find out that I love him even more, even though now he's kind of a dirtbag outside of wrestling based on how he treats people and whatnot. But so I've heard. But, just that impact of, the most unbelievable person turning heel and then how cool of a moment that was. You're never going to see that TX NWO ever again. That's fact. You got to see Andre the Giant, Hogan, Slaughter, the Sheik. That's cool. Let me see if I can find. I think the thumbs are right behind me. Let me see if I can grab them here real quick. Check these out. Yeah, and I only got two. Junkyard Dog, Hogan. Just crazy, man. That stuff like this, still exists, and people had them. Junkyard Dog's eyes are gone though. Junkyard Dog has no eyeballs. Eyeballs are literally, looks like a ghost. There's no color there. But at least Hogan he still got his. That's a lot of smashing and a lot of playing going on when their fucking face is removed. I think this is the only figure that I own that doesn't have eyes. Junkyard Dog and Hogan must have went at it. All right, they're gonna get put right here in front of me. They're gonna post up on the iMac. sitting next to Mario Lemieux. There you go. I got a vintage Andre. Let me see if I can find. It's like right behind me here. I got to go get my drink here real quick. Hold up. There we go. 1990 Andre the Giant. And then you pull him back, and he throws the guy. You don't want to go too far back, otherwise you'll break him. But that's what it's about, man. And it's like, you can have the stuff in the box, and like 95% of my collection is in the box. But it's also cool to be able to put your hands, on a particular toy or figure or game that you had when you were younger, or maybe when you didn't have when you were younger that you wanted or you saw it, and then just to be able to kind of reconnect, for something that old. I mean, we're in 2024 now, so pretty wild. Vintage Andre. All right, I got to get a drink here real quick. 1-0 Carolina. You never know what's going to happen in this stream. You never know what kind of figures or toys are going to get busted at. All right, let me go get my drink here real quick. Yep, that's it. Middle fingers. Isn't that amazing? Bro, Odin, that Stone Cold is fucking amazing. I have that. I want to take it out of the. I wish I would have had enough money to buy two, so I could have one out of the package and one, in the package. David Robertson, the Rangers, 1 year contract, 11-12 million. That Stone Cold figure is, I told you, middle fingers. They have multiple hands, 3 heads, I think 3 hands, and beer cans. And so it's like it's kind of like I don't want to say more of a mature wrestling figure, but like you're not going to be able to get that in America. Like it has to be like a European, Canadian, or Japanese wrestling figure adaptation. For them to be able to do that, and that's essentially when I saw what it included. I was like, oh my god! Like, so if you have to pay $50 to $100 for those, it's worth it. And like I said, most of the time for those ones, you're paying over 40. I don't think you'll even be able to get it for under 40, but probably you'll have to pay 50 and up. Just for the type of it is, it's rare, and and especially the beer and the middle fingers. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. So. Oh, all the figures. All the figures. And I got like a shoebox full of like loose figures, old and new. Sometimes it's cool to go in there. I got like a really cool elite Dolph Ziggler when Ziggler was like right coming up, into the prime, and he's got the pink trunks and he's got like the frilly jacket and everything. I remember I bought a Dolph Ziggler t-shirt back in the day, and I wore it to the point where it had holes and it was unrecognizable. Like I rocked that thing like so often. Shout out to Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler. All right, let me go get my drink. Ziggler should have went to AEW. I'll send that. Hold on. All right, Odin sent me something to send you, Judah. I sent it to your Instagram for the old school Hulk Hogan cartoon. All right, second period. Like, sub, share, donate, support. Appreciate y'all. One more like to 10. Let's get there. Hopefully, we can have a goat or two help us out. I know I got something coming up on the 28th, so anything that can be done would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Yeah, I'm just hoping that I can get like 50 to 60 between now and the 28th. I think that's where I'm at for the thing that I think I have half of what I need, And this is kind of one of those things when you do the streaming, sometimes you'll get something where you can, get a dono where you can have that pay a bill right away, and then other times if people send the super chat, it's much appreciated, But then I don't get to see that until the following month, So depending on if I need to pay a bill immediately or if it's going to be something for down the road, obviously, no matter what happens, if anyone is willing to support in any way, it's greatly appreciated. But yeah, anytime that you can get a bill paid, on time, that's always kind of needed at least a couple times during the month. But I think we'll be able to do that. I think we'll be able to get that. Appreciate you, Air with a fiver. That'll go towards the bill. So I appreciate that. A little bit here, a little bit there, and we got a few days to get there, so it's not like a crazy thing. It's usually just like I got to groom Paisley, I got to buy her $80 dog food, I got to take her to the groomers for $35. So sometimes it's like you just need that basic just to get basic shit done, or just pay the internet bill, make sure my cell phone doesn't turn off. Nothing extravagant, just keeping the momentum going. Air Jordan with a fiver. Thank you, man. I will use that towards that, and that it helps, man. Air Jordan getting us on the board, much appreciated. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, with a little cactus jack. Bang bang, bang bang. Appreciate you. And make sure you take care of your mental health. It's very important. You only have one. You never know what you'll get into here. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about music. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about mental health, depression, anxiety. Maybe we bust out some wrestling figures or some starting lineups. You never know where it's going to go. What do you want to do for a photo? You want some Jordan Love? Or you got like a wrestling particular person that you want to be able to do? I just want to be able to do more wrestling content on the channel. We already have, the rights for the Northwest Wrestling Fanatics. So down the road, once we fully get established on this channel, that will be the second channel that we will establish on more of a purpose, type of intent. But we want to make sure we're focusing all the energy on this one first, and then down the road we can open up that one to gain some ground on that one as well. So I definitely want to be able to do more wrestling type of content. Too bad, they don't allow a lot of the reaction video type stuff because I would do a lot on the wrestling side. I would probably do more on the wrestling side than any other thing besides NFL and college football during that season. I mean, it's easy to be able to react to wrestling, especially if you're an old school OG that's been watching wrestling since the 80s and 90s. So, but it's kind of shitty that AEW or WWE or any of the federations, if you have any type of reaction video, you might be able to have it up there for a little bit, maybe as long as a year or two, but eventually they track down almost everything, and which is a damn shame because there would be a good audience and market for that. You know, it's like one thing that they are, not giving the freedom like they do on the other sports, or they actually could be getting, positive things to that brand. Like getting that oh my god or those holy shit moments. With a actual genuine reaction, not. And of course, you're going to get people that are going to do over the top because they're fake and they want to be able to be crazy and like jump out a window and be stupid and insane, just to get a couple more views. But you would be able to get some like amazing, like genuine reactions on wrestling fans that are actually legit. Trying to show the passion of what wrestling can bring, not just basketball, baseball, football, and hockey. Kana, good choice. Oh, and Carolina up 2-0. That is tough. Two zero Carolina. Damn, Carolina again. 3-0 Carolina. Uh-oh. Let me tell you something, brother. The good old days. I mean, shit, it doesn't even matter who I watch. It could be like Rick the Model Martel. It could be like Brutus the Barber Beefcake. It doesn't even have to be like the most talented wrestler, but you can just watch something that you watched when you were a kid, and then you're just going to be like, in a trance, going back to that moment. It doesn't have to be always, the top with Hogan and Flair and Andre the Giant or Macho Man. Sometimes the memories are the Bushwhackers or the Mountie. You never know what those memories might be able to spark up. I love being able to go back and watch, the random. Sometimes the random names are stuff that you'll remember a little bit more. Oh, there we go. I had to get you something fire, so that way we can see like the evolution. Carolina is hot, hot, hot. Let me tell you something, brother. Asuka, maybe the most talented female wrestler, one of the best of all time. Still hasn't really got her full flowers in America. We Asian sensations, we don't fuck around. What about it? Yeah, that's tough. She's like Ichiro. You know what I'm saying? Like you have talent somewhere else, in Japan, and you be able to make your legacy there, and then you end up coming to America and maybe not really getting like as much as like Ichiro probably got a lot more love and praise and pub and love than Asuka, but I feel like what both of them have done for each perspective thing is not going to be duplicated. So it's like you have to start appreciating that. Or it's like even someone like Mike Evans. Once it's all said and done, and people look at the touchdowns and the yards and what he was able to get out of the shitty quarterbacks that he played with, other than Tom Brady, like people will like put Mike Evans in a different level of conversation. Once he's retired. Sometimes people don't realize what kind of greatness that you're seeing at the current moment. Coach's challenge 3-0 Carolina. North Carolina. Some stuff it's not letting me convert. At least I got the main one that had like all the different versions. Let me convert. Yeah. Let me convert, damn it. Oh, here we go. I got a Japanese promo. Gosh, most of them are not letting me convert. They're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Not happening. And then I was like, I need something. Give me like something, man. We go from here, and then we go from here, and I give you the Japanese jump off. Stardom. It's all my cousins. Hopefully she'll end up having an appropriate run. It's like regardless of black, white, Mexican, Asian. It's like with wrestling. I mean, it's gonna anybody can end up making a name for themselves, but not everyone is gonna get the fair pub and love and push. Like I said, that others get. But I mean, if you're ever going to give someone the belt for like years at a time or months at a time, her name should be at the very top. But it's like I get it when you have Charlotte Flair or if you have Bianca Belair, more marketable. I get it based off their look, and what they do in the ring. And we're not going to see Asuka on the top rope doing backflips. Maybe that's one thing that if she were to do, that maybe she would have gotten a little bit more limelight. If she wrestled more like Charlotte or Bianca, but the simple fact that she doesn't, that's what makes her cool to do the strong style and to be technical, kind of like a Bret Hart in the ring, and very stiff punches and kicks, submissions, stuff on the ropes. I guess it's either you have an appreciation for it or you don't. A lot of the true OGs recognize the greatness. Let me see. Hold up. Odin wants me to send something to you, Judah. Boom. Okay. So we got the Hulk Hogan. I might have one left in me. Yeah, Hulk Hogan can't even move, brother. Well, like I said, once you end up going to strong style, then it's hard to like. It's like when you're watching Lucha Libre, compared to other stuff. Like once you start, seeing like hardcore wrestling in ECW, Lucha Libre wrestling, or you watch Eddie in his prime, or anybody in the lucha scene. It changes the way that you look at wrestling or strong style, in Japan or in America, based on something elite or enjoyable that you had with Oscar or Shinsuke or Japanese wrestlers at the time. I mean, it's not the same, man. 3-0 Carolina. What a whooping here. Islanders 1, Canadians 3 after 2, Simon says. He said 4 feet, not 3, not 2, not 1, but 4. That's close. That's like arm distance. I've seen people harass her at the airport though, and that's kind of like, and you can tell like the dudes that are like doing it. It's like sometimes you'll see like the same ones, and they're just selling the photo on eBay or sending it in to get it PSA'd, and then selling it for more profit or whatever. Like it's cool. I mean, like I said, it's not cool to harass or badger a wrestler, but if they're nice enough to sign, like damn, like it's like but again, they're some are just going to be in it for just simply the money. They're the ones that are hunting down the people, so they have to justify it by getting the autograph and selling it. So, but for real fans of wrestling, I mean, it's like we would if you had an opportunity, probably wouldn't even want to bother. But if you could get the auto, yeah, it's like something that you would get if you were a real fan. You'd keep forever. Frame that shit. Look at it. Put it on your, on your desk in your computer room or whatever. One of the coveted items instead of just something that you flip on eBay. There's two different types of people. That's why, like, when you go to a baseball game, you're going to have two types of fans: ones that want the kids to get, the souvenir, or it ends up being someone like me, where I'm not going to injure anybody. I'm not going to push anyone. If a kid is going to be the one that gets it, yeah. But if it's a bunch of adults, all next to each other, I am going to be the adult out of all the adults that gets the ball. That's just how it goes. I'm going to Spider-Man that shit, and that shit is mine. Okay, Julio, fucking Aaron Judge, maybe future Shohei Ohtani. If it's going to be drunk adults or sober adults, I'm getting it into my collection. Finley in the building. What's good? What's good, Finley? What do you think about the coaching hire? Probably most Panther fans are not that excited about it, but in all honesty, if you're looking at him, right? he's the sleeper Ben Johnson, Slowick guy that's not, if he would have coached for one more year under the Bucks, he would be getting the same type of Ben Johnson, Slowick type of treatment. But since Carolina isn't really a destination based off the owner throwing the beer and what they have to fix, that you actually got a guy like a year prior to getting hot as a name. So even though he will get fired at some point, maybe he'll get a little bit more out of Bryce. And, like I said, it's not going to be any Panthers' number one choice, but you got to think you had no chance of getting Johnson or Slowick. So you actually got the third in that category, but just a year early. So you have to look at it that way. Because if you like it, and let me just say something right here. As a Bucks fan, right, I'm mad that he's your coach. So that should tell you that I like him. I didn't want to lose him. I wanted him to be a part of the organization. So. But like you said, see, you're on the same page as me. It's not going to be what your number one choice, but you never had a chance with those other two guys. They're going somewhere else. They're going to go somewhere that has a team that's more built already, right? So to be able to hire a guy 1 year early before the hype comes, you actually did yourself a pretty good solid there. And the thing is that he wasn't able to put up points against Carolina when we had the 9-0. And a lot of people are clowning the hire because, you guys hired the guy that couldn't even score a touchdown. You know what I mean? But if you actually look at the body of work of Dino and Baker and then now Bryce, it's like you have to look based on more than just Baker Mayfield and that one game. But of course, haters are going to be dumb and they're only going to bring up recency bias, whatever happened recently, to hate. But I loved him on my team. So I was very sad and upset to see him go. When Sarah sent me the post, I normally thumbs up or I do laughing emoji if I think it's funny or fire. I had to do the thumbs down emoji. And I don't thumbs down emoji too many things when we're sharing the sports related news to talk about on the show. I thumbs down very rarely. I thumbs down today. So I do like it and it's going to be, he will get fired. And the problem is the owner and, the GM. You need to get, everything cleaned out. New owner, new GM, better head coach. And he's more of a coordinator. That's really what he is. But now he's just getting the honor to be able to be the, head coach and OC. Or, maybe he'll give the responsibility to someone else. Or he'll be the head coach and the OC. And you'll be able to see what he can do. But or if he'll have an advisor or someone else that he'll bounce ideas off of. But the type of guy that he is, really likable, smart, cool that he's foreign. Anytime you get someone that's Asian or Mexican or European, it's like you get the Caucasian and you get the black coaches. And then it's cool, other than the white and the black, that you're also sprinkling a little Latino flavor, a little Latino heat. You're going to get some Japanese or Chinese or Korean once in a while with like an assistant. You might get someone from a foreign country, Switzerland, background, European, something, or somewhere where they're like fucking from like a random place where they came from adversity and they're like from the Congo and all of a sudden now they're an assistant coach. I like shit like that. Like give me a little variety and don't just hire the same fucking idiots over and over in recycled pool of coaches. Take a chance. Look at guys that might not have the chances yet, but maybe give certain OCs, DCs, coordinators a chance, or guys from college, rather than the same recycled Bill Belichick's that no one wants anymore. So I am excited for you guys, and I rep NFC South all day, every day. Someone has to on YouTube. Not many people rep, so I'm the one that's going to rep for the Panthers, Falcons, Saints, and Bucks, no matter what. And when we suck, yeah, you're going to know it. We got the shittiest division in football, but when we're good, right? When we get a team or two that's good in the division, when we're good and we say we're good, we're really good. So we're like Super Bowl good. So it's not going to be like that all the time, but I'm looking to see some development for the Panthers, and what we get there with Bryce, maybe now with Raheem, with the Falcons. They'll trade for Justin Fields if it happens. Orion has ESP. He told you already. Don't know if it'll happen, but it's a fit. Saints will always be dominant. They fucked up with the car, but Carr did show flashes late.
but it's just not a natural fit. It's weird. Like, uh, I don't know how to describe it. It's like having someone that that is a cat person, and all of a sudden they have five cats, and then all of a sudden they have a dog, but it's not like weird. It's like they're dog sitting, but they don't know how to act right. It's like there's certain things that are going to click, and certain things that aren't. And I feel like Carr with the Raiders, it fit like a glove. Like he looked good in the uniform, everything is good. But with the Saints, like to go from Drew Brees and Jameis and Taysom and it's just, that's a lot to live up to. You know what I mean? But the style of the way that Carr plays is not a fit for Nollins. It's like you got to be able to embrace someone, and it's not even necessarily like a white or a black thing or a white quarterback, black quarterback. But it just has to be something that feels like it fits. Like Justin Fields in Chicago, to me, it can fit, but it just depends if they think that can he win a Super Bowl? The answer is no. Move on. So if he goes to Atlanta, he's got kind of the shimmy, he's got the shake, he's got the swag. He's going to sell his jersey more in Atlanta, and you're going to get more wins there with him in Atlanta. Now, is he going to be the long-term guy in Atlanta? Is Raheem going to be there for 10 years? Fuck no. Both will get fired. But for the time being, if you want to put butts in the seats, it would make games more enjoyable for Atlanta if he was there. I mean, would they be able to get to 10 wins? Maybe, or maybe they only get 7 or 8, but I'm here to see if it happens, and it just depends on, hopefully they don't have to give up Drake London or Pitts or Bajon. But if you get a good quarterback that is average at least, which he is, and we think he's above average, but we don't know if he'll ever be good. That's a problem. You can run, but you can't really throw. So if we put you around other pieces with new coaching, can you take your passing level up and your rushing shit back a little bit? And can we see you like develop to be like a baby Lamar? Are you able to do that? We don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, but the thing is, Judah, a lot of us on this channel are like insane wrestling fans. So it's like we read everything, we watch everything from the past and the present. So Hogan, obviously has done and said some like racist things over his years and racist actions. And so the overall perception of Hogan is not as good as it was years ago. Like when he was in the Hulkamaniacs, it was good. NWO, it was good. But then after NWO, like in WWE and other things, then the reputation and certain things, it wasn't so positive and glowing for him anymore. So even diehards like me that love Hollywood Hogan, I mean, I got the figures here on the desk. I got all the NWO members here, Wolfpack and obviously Black and White, but it's like he doesn't have the same kind of people will cheer because of the music and the old school people where, if you grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, but specifically in like the 80s, you understand what like Hogan did for wrestling. And at first it was the Andre the Giant, but he doesn't have the same kind of reaction for the OG fans. The younger fans that don't know any better will cheer blindly. But for people like my age or slightly younger, slightly older, we understand that he's not the angel that he thinks he is. So yes, Vince, crazy. But we already knew Vince was crazy. I did. I already knew that more stories were going to come out, and just more ladies have to be brave to come out and to say that this guy's a POS, and all the gifts and the hush money and like what they did. It's like you have to also realize that she was accepting a lot of gifts, supposedly based on the things that were out there, based on the things that were said, the acts that were done, and then the gifts that were given, and obviously the verbal abuse and the shit that was said. But the sad reality is there's a lot of people that are high profile people that act that way and think that's okay. Not only Vince, but Hollywood and athletes and actors and actresses. And, it's not just like Vince McMahon. I mean, it's you know, there is a problem, going on for sure. Royal Rumble. I can't wait. Oh, you got the lineups. Look at you. That's why, like, because Odin and Sarah are very similar to my age. So if you're within 4 years of my age, you're going to be pretty much like when someone was a freshman, that guy was a senior, and you're kind of in that same boat. I mean, unless you're dead on the same age as me, then you know everything that I'm talking about. But I feel like if you're within 4 years ahead or behind, that's going to be the closest thing to someone that being on the same level as you, even if you're not in the same state or city, or if you haven't seen face to face, but you grew up with the same stuff, even if you lived in the Midwest or the East Coast and whatnot. I just try to give you guys that West Coast flavor, that we're built different out here. You know, I got mad love and respect for the Midwest and the East Coast and the South, and just every region is just so different. But we need the Devils to get some points here because 3-0 is not good for Aiden or Odin. So we got to switch the logo up. The Hurricane has just been going in a circle over and over and over. 1, 2, 3. 2002. See, for me, it was 2000. So, you know what the crazy thing is also, too? Out of like my collection that's, X amount of dollars, right? I have given away to friends and friends of friends and people that I wanted to have something, whether they sold it, for beer or, opened it up or gave it away or broke it or whatever. But I've probably given away shit 30% of my collection overall when I had it, maybe 35. Because it's like if I ever meet someone that is a hardcore fan of something, and then I end up coming across something that is valuable, but it's swag, and I normally wouldn't get rid of it, and I know I could sell it to make money, but it's like sometimes there's certain things that are meant to go with certain people, and certain memorabilia pieces are meant for certain people and whatnot, and sometimes it's like I feel that if you can get that piece to that person, then maybe they can have that one piece that they can cherish, and then that could start them, on a, maybe a start of a collection, moving forward, either for them or their family members. But luckily, most of the stuff that I did give away, like with the starting lineups or McFarland's or DC or Marvel or whatever it was, and my wrestling stuff was untouched. I've never, actually, no, I can't say that's not true. Wrestling stuff was touched because I have some Undertaker stuff that I wish I still had. But again, sometimes certain things deserve to be with certain people. Less than 6 minutes left in the second period. 3-0 Carolina. The music vids? Which ones? You sent me oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. McFarlane. McFarlane has done, they had the Spawn, they did like Walking Dead and a lot some of the stuff is like I got some Walking Dead figures and it's crazy because it's like if a show has an impact and I can find an articulate figure of something and it's cool, and I know like McFarlane is very trusted and like McFarlane, Walking Dead had so much more detail than like the McFarlane Sports NASCAR figures. Because like you would get like one of my favorite figures that I own. I have the Daryl Dixon crossbow with Daryl, but I have the motorcycle. Like, what's better than that? I mean, I got Rick and I got Michonne and I got bigger figures and I got I mean, I got quite a few, but for me, it's like the accessory, the iconic motorcycle. Like, what's gonna level up to that in Walking Dead? Not many things and stuff, but Yeah, we're gonna know everything. But we also have to decide on what's gonna happen. Or if we decide to move on from Bowles or whatever. I mean, if the Bucks, were really smart, if they were smart, they would get Bruce Arians, to be the head coach, put Todd Bowles back to defensive coordinator, draft a quarterback, like a Michael Penix Jr. or a Bo Nix, have that compete with Baker Mayfield, and then see where the team goes after they re-sign Mike Evans. Let everyone and Antoine Winfield Jr. give him the franchise tag. The only one that you would let walk would be Devin White, which would be unfortunate, but it sounds like that's probably what's going to happen. So, yeah. Nico, here she is. Here she is. Yeah, Tech Nine is great. Sometimes you can just, randomly listen to like a song or two, and you can go back into that memory or that mode back when you first listened to it or back in the day. I did not expect a 3-0 matchup. Jack Hughes sorely missed on IR, but I mean, this is completely different against that Vegas Golden Knights when we thought it would be amazing, and then you got the 6-5 OT. Jack Hughes, Jack Eichel didn't get it, but Carolina playing like they are the second best team in the division, and they're playing like a playoff team, which it seems like they're going to be almost every single year. They feel like they may not be first in the division, but they're always kind of hanging around. They're feisty. They like to scrap. They're physical. They're a good passing team. And you got Sebastian Aho. People think he's an a-hole, but he just, he's a triple threat. Scores, right? Scoring, assists, goals, the trifecta, leads in all three categories. You got a guy like that and he's rolling, yeah, you're fucked most of the time. Bakhtiari is almost like crazy that he's still playing with all the injuries every year. At this point, it's like collecting a paycheck and you have no faith that he can make it in a full season. You're coming to terms, it might be half a year. Yeah. Well, the Kraken aren't really in a very good position either. We have to make up a lot of fucking ground, but we do have a easy schedule. So if they can take advantage of the bad teams and steal a couple of the good ones, they might be in consideration after the All-Star break as we go deeper in the schedule. I'm hoping to get caught up a little bit, but like, not a good feeling when you kind of have to dig yourself out of a hole, especially when expectations were high. Good save. Wish I had a Wayne, Gretzky that I would have saved, but still. Mario Lemieux, 1994. That time, it was definitely special. That 5 to 12-year-old. I feel like anything from that time period, you go back into your childhood, that's when you're going to reconnect the most. 5 to 12, because anything from 5 to 12 years old, it was amazing to you or to anybody, whatever it was. The cartoons, the video games, the toys. Oh, good save. Oh, and I feel like as me being a wrestling fan of like all the promotions, but obviously we know Jordan, Mr. Air Whitey, is going to watch probably the most of all the federations other than WWE and AEW. But I feel like with the injuries that AEW has had, and with AEW not really being able to match, the surprises and the comebacks and the storyline, I feel like AEW is starting to fade a little bit right now, which is a real thing to say. And I feel like WWE has taken over as far as like, you know, fans of both are still appreciate both. But if you don't have your top guys in AEW and all the cool shit is happening in WWE, it's a reality that you got to step up, or otherwise you're going to lose people. Things are you got to have better wrestlers in your shows. You can't have as many jobbers sprinkled in as you were back in the day when all your superstars were going. Big facts. I wish I had the time to watch everything: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision. I wish I had the ability to watch all those all the time, every week, and sprinkle in an Impact or NJPW or whatever else, ROH. Just have so much time that I can just watch everything. Less than 3 minutes to go. 3-0 Carolina. Less than 2 minutes to go in the second period. 3-0 Hurricanes. Come on, Devils. We want to make sure that at least it's somewhat competitive. Got to get one to stop the bleeding. Carolina's in playoff mode where they're just trying to fucking just end it. It's stomp, 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 stomp. You're just not letting them get up and breathe and reset. They're just getting obliterated. These first two periods got to come out with some fire in the third, and not just think about what's for dinner, which probably at this point they are thinking. They're like, gosh, we don't even got a goal yet. What is for dinner? Hopefully they have some fight and they don't quit. And it would be amazing if they could end up getting a goal right in the beginning of the third period, because it doesn't feel like they're going to get one here in the second. But they go 3-1 bang right in the first 2 minutes. They're going to lose still, but at least it would be more likely to get another goal. Then we could get a 3-2 final, or maybe a 4-2 final if they score twice, once on Carolina and maybe twice on the Devils. So the Tech and the Twista. It's gonna melt your face. It's amazing. You don't have rappers nowadays that can do what they do. With the vibe with the Bone Thugs, and then with the Twista and the Tech Nine. But Midwest Choppers remix, Midwest Choppers anything. It's the combination of the different types. It's very interesting to hear California rappers fast, Kansas City rapper fast, Texas rap fast, New York rap fast, Georgia, Atlanta rap fast. Everyone's got a different style and tone and cadence. But then when they rap fast, it's just so oddball, but it all blends together because it's you can see the talent that comes out. All the songs. End of the second period, 3-0 Hurricanes. Aiden, Odin, what happened today? Let's keep our mental health up. And hopefully they can make a little bit of a comeback. All right, let me know what you guys want to do for photos here. And I got you. Whatever you want. We want to do wrestling, hockey. I don't care. Whatever you guys want. I got you. Put me to work. I'm excited about Royal Rumble, though. Kraken tomorrow against the Blues will be fun. Go Kraken. But we'll see if the Blues compete. And then Royal Rumble. Exciting. Always, I'm going to have fun for that. And then AFC, NFC championship game. Let's go. Wrestler of the decade. Jock did. Jocktober. Diamondbacks are starting to build something special. With the Diamondbacks got something. They're cooking. They're cooking. Electric on the microphone. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I've heard that version before. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah. Because I busted like the New York, and then you just keep going. Like each kind of vibe is so different. And yeah, I gotta. Sometimes I'll just get in modes too. Like I want to go back and listen to like Outkast, and it just depends on what kind of vibe I'm in. That I want to do with aliens or where I want to go. Do we have any predictions for Royal Rumble? Has anyone thought ahead that far yet? Like genuine possibilities that what could happen for the men's and women? Depends on, I guess, where they want the storyline to go. Baseball season yet? Boston 2, Ottawa 1. In the third, there you go. My guy. Him and Macho Man. Are we gonna get any gold, Odin? There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. My boy, technology. Got you, man. I got you, man. 3-0, man. Chico. It's me, the bad guy. All right, the Devils got to get at least something, at least a goal. Come on now. Yeah, what? Oh, man. Oh. Yo, what up? Meant up. The grass is damn green in Eugene. baby. We're going to get this Muhammad news tomorrow morning. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, winning the Big Ten. Oh, every single year besides Ohio State. Oh, baby. Oregon, Ohio State, Ohio State, Oregon, 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 Oregon. Let's go. So we're going to do the Big Ten. Pow, pow. Scott Hall, Oregon Ducks. Go Ducks. All right, what else do you guys want to do for photos before we start up? We're going to be starting here the third period. The Devils have gotten their ass kicked for 2 periods. It's 3-0. They need a hell of an effort. Are they going to win? No. But they might be able to get 1 or 2 goals as long as they're not thinking about what's for dinner. So hopefully they put out a little bit of effort and then we can have a decent 3-2 game or 4-2, something of that nature. Let's fucking go. Baby. Dang. Hey, yo. You don't make wrestlers like this anymore. This is my generation, baby. With the machismo, you feel me? There'll never be another Scott Hall. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Outsiders, baby. New world order. For life, brother. Oh, yeah. Go. Should have been an NWO Oregon Duck collaboration. NWO, baby. Oh, Tampa Bay and NWO. Oregon Ducks and NWO. Kraken and NWO. The Ducks, though. Fire, fire, fire. We should be getting some news, though, pretty soon. If there's any other, there's always going to be names that come up. But again, it's just about, remembering the names and seeing what they do once they get an opportunity to show what they can do for the team. Sometimes these pickups that are happening like this could be huge moving forward. Especially if we're trying to win the Big Ten in the first year, which is Oregon's goal. So we're already like either us or Ohio State. Like we're already like that's the if we can't get first, then like we're failing. I like that attitude. Someone's got to go in there out of the 4 teams and try to go for the jugular right away against either Michigan or Ohio State. You lose Harbaugh. There'll be a little bit of slippage in Michigan. So it should be a couple teams, and there might be another team besides Ohio State and Oregon that joins the party, even over Michigan. But who will that be? We'll have to wait and see. Third period. Hurricanes. Devils. Come on, man. Are we at 10? I'm looking. 11. 9 to go. 9 to go. All right. Stingy defense this season. The Carolina Hurricanes. That's what they do. Aiden, Devils fan, not happy. Odin, Devils fan, not happy. On the road. But I think it would be fair to say if Jack Hughes was playing, maybe they have 1 right now. Maybe 2. John is in the building. John wants to trade all his favorite players to my favorite teams for a bag of potato chips. The baseball yet? Who's going to be the star player on the team this year? Like, who's going to be the breakout guy for the Cardinals? For you and Sarah? Who's going to be the guy? I'll do some Cardinal games this year for you too. I gotta sprinkle in a little bit of everything. It's not going to be just Mariners and Dodgers. You know, there'll be a little bit of everything in there. Little Padres, little Yankees, little Braves, little Cardinals. I guess they're just little Phillies. You know, Diamondbacks for sure. Cubs. I mean, we just have to see what time the game is on and what's an interesting matchup. All right, third period finally underway. No, you got to give me someone that's not the obvious. You know, you got to give me Jordan Walker is going to be the X factor this year. I need like that. You know what I mean? You can't just give me the obvious. I'm a Mariner fan and I already know that. You got to go deeper, my guy. You got to give me that deeper information, like who's going to break out and end up being like the third best player on the team or fourth behind the Hall of Fame guys. That's what I want to know. Jordan Walker or someone else. I mean, even though both of our teams were kind of ass, like it was cool to be able to see your guys' team in Seattle. I got that off the bucket. So didn't get a baseball in those two games though. No memorabilia. But I didn't really feel it. You know, and sometimes it's like, you know, where you're sitting and like the trajectory of the foul balls, and you can kind of have an idea of like you are in a section that has a chance, or it's just, you know, you're not going to have a chance whatsoever. The hot spot when you buy a seat to go see a baseball game. Aho! 3-0 Hurricanes. It's hockey season. Go Kraken. Go Blues. We play tomorrow. We'll find out. We can't lose that game. So, you know, they're going to bring everything they have. So I hope you guys do too. And if we lose, fuck it. GG. But if we win, I mean, we gotta be able to make up a lot. Where, you know, we dug ourselves in a fucking ditch. The hole is huge. Nowhere near feeling like comfortable, like you're automatically getting into the playoffs. Like as of right now, you're not there. You're not in. But the schedule gets easy after the All-Star break. It's like one of the 5 easiest. So if they take care of business, there'll be a chance for the Kraken in the last couple weeks. You know, depending on where everyone else is at, if they start dropping L's, because they have a hard part of their schedule and they had some easies in the first part of the year. And I want to see the NHL All-Star Game. I enjoy the NHL All-Star Game every year. Second best to the MLB All-Star Game, which is my favorite. But all the other ones are garbage. Is there any rookies or anyone that's coming up from single A, double A, triple A? Like, you know, is there a phenom, you know, like pitcher waiting in the wings? Is there a guy that is triple A that's close to breaking out? Is there a rookie, you know, that you drafted in the last year or two that hasn't got a chance to play yet, but maybe this year will be the year? Because obviously Jordan Walker, if you just give him time, he looks like he could be a stud, like the third best player on the team if you give him enough time to keep playing and growing. You know, he could be the third or fourth best guy, but he seems like a guy that could rip up 25 to 40 homers if he plays a full season. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's saying that he can't. Yeah, Mason Wynn. He's got a little bit of a phenom. icing on Carolina. I think also too, it's like if you know your team sucks ass, sometimes it's like I want to be able to have players that I like to root for. So it's like AP Crawford, emotional, cool, chill dude, leader, Julio, and then Eugenio Suarez. But you took one of my emotional, guys that are cool, like in the clubhouse and fans love those pieces. And then on top of that, I lose the defense too. So it's like, I don't know. It feels like we're going to be worse than we were last year, and we're going in the opposite direction. But I guess we have to wait for Snell to make a decision if he wants shitloads of money and wants to take less to come to a different team like the Mariners. But I assume he'll just want to get paid as much as he can. But I want hitters. I want good hitters. We have a lot of fucking pitching, but it's I need someone I can rely on, hitting wise, and I don't got a whole lot of those. No Teoscar, no Kelenic, no Eugenio Suarez. Everyone is going to be new. The Brett Hull figure in the blues on this 94 package on the back is super dope. It's the white jersey with the blue pants and the white, and then the socks, and then he's got the blue gloves. That's when I remember him in the early 90s when he was there. What's that? And that's not the whole set, but you gotta have grit. Why O'Neal? Looking cool. Yeah, but Raheem Morris isn't going to be able to last long term. It's maybe a good fit and a good hire for now, but does anyone really think he's going to make it past 5 to 10 years? And probably not, which is unfortunate, but you never know. Some guys will surprise us, but it just shows you how hard to get a really good quality coach, GM, coordinators, they're not a dime a dozen. There's definitely less than people think. So. How'd you like that top 10 uniforms? Boom! Devils! Finally! Boom, 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 boom. Boom, Devils, boom, Oregon Ducks, top 10 uniforms. I didn't agree with that list, but it was cool to look at those uniforms. Boom, and I sent it to you, and you liked it. Bang! 3-1. Devils, Devils, Devils. Knock, knock, who's there? Devils. First game as a Devil. Dowling! Boom, baby. Oh, yeah. Justin Dowling was a slap shot assisted by Alexander Holtz and Chris Tierney. 3-1 Carolina. There we go, Devils. Yes. That's why we're here. Hello. Now, like I said, what did I say? Get one early in the first minute or two. It took them a little bit longer, but they got it, and they still got now plenty of time. If you can get the next one in half of the time that you got the first one. So now if there's 14 minutes left, you don't need to put too much pressure if you're just thinking strategy. Okay, 14 minutes left. You need to score within 7 minutes. Give us half of the time to fuck around, play defense, figure it out, and then maybe you get a chance in that 7-minute period. You do, then you just have to get the third one with the last 7 minutes, which makes it seem like a little bit more doable. There's a scrap in there. Scrapping like my junkyard dog that has no eyes or face. Sure. Nice, dude. Devils. Let's see if I can get you a photo. His first one, man. That's a memory. You'll remember that. Hey, yo. Boom, baby. Boy with the photos. It's me, the bad guy. I would be Scott Hall's friend. We'd be good buddies. New world order. Or life, brother. Oh, yeah. Nice job. Nice job. There we go. 3-1, baby. Good job. Hey, yo. I appreciate that. Bad times go last. I know, it's like every time we just got to put up the bad guy. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. You know, it could be NWO. Boom, get a goal. Boom, we got Razor Ramon. Hey, yo. Boom, another one, right? Got you, man. (3-1) Carolina Devils down by 2. They get one more goal within 5 to 7 minutes left. They will have a chance. But Carolina is, they're so well rounded on defense, and they, kind of suffocate you. And it took New Jersey this long to get a goal. I mean, you got to think, you got guys out there, and you're trying for 2 periods, and it took all the way to the, few minutes into the third. They're putting in a hell of a lot of work. But goals come in pairs and in triples, baby. So I'm not sure if you can stop them, but there's still a chance that you guys can get at least one more. Minimum one more. If you're really lucky, 2 more. But if you get 2 more, how many more are they getting? Probably at least 1 more in this period, you would assume. Unless you guys just get like all the luck in the fucking world. And then it ends up being 3-3 and you go to OT and we have like a shootout. Like in Superbad. It's a shootout. Great movie. Have to watch it again on DVD, special edition on the PS2. Superbad. Watch it. Brad and Diesel. I saw a social media. I'm not sure if it was that match, but I saw something like that. But it wasn't cage match though. On an old match that was like yesterday or the day before. That's awesome. I mean, I went to shows, like they were banned here in Oregon for a long time, but I would go up to Washington. But didn't really get a chance to see a lot of the like Macho Man and people that I would have maybe wanted to see as a kid. But as I got older and it was in the 90s and like the NWO and the ECW, like I introduced my friends in Oregon to ECW. They had no idea what it was. We did backyard wrestling. I fucking let people like powerball me off a fucking trampoline onto the concrete. Like, we were kind of insane and loved wrestling. But with like the NWO days and the DX days, and even prior to that, like with the Diesel and the Bret Hart, I mean, that's the golden era, man. Things will never be duplicated in the 80s and 90s for many things. Everything. Movies, the wrestlers, sports, music. I don't know what it is, man. It's undefeated in those eras. But I did get a chance to see like Stone Cold and The Rock up pretty close, like floor seats, like within like 10 rows, or being on the guardrail on certain pay-per-views and whatnot. So it's always cool when you can have like a different perspective. Like I went to NXT TakeOver Portland. Poppy performed. I was on the barricade in the front row. Got to see like Finn Balor and a bunch of people like just like right there. Got to touch the tag belts with Riddle. And and obviously the bruiserweight. And they came out of the tank and got dapped from Keith Lee when they went. Him and Dijakovic fucking tore the house down. And also Beth Phoenix at the end got their little tap up, and so it's sometimes it's cool where you don't have to be like dead center on TV, ringside on the rail to be considered, that's the only front row seat. Fuck, if you're front row anywhere, you have a chance to get memorabilia or interaction. So you could be on the guardrail. Of course, the best seat is going to be dead middle TV side where you're the guy on TV, like courtside guy or something, right? But being on the guardrail in the entryway, sometimes it's just as cool. Different angle. You might not be on his TV as much, but you get to see like the intro and the outro, the walking to and from the ring, maybe getting some interaction. I don't know. It's kind of dope. Barry Horowitz, dude, yes. Oh, British Bulldog, great name. Wow. Owen Hart, yes, legend. The Hart Foundation, I love the Hart Foundation. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, yeah, Bret Hart, Owen Hart. They added like British Bulldog, and you had the little, they're like their own little faction. Yokozuna. Like WrestleMania, the arcade game is still one of the best games of all time. It was like NFL Blitz or NBA Street, right? But it was with like wrestling, but it was like fun. And then they had like little fatalities with the Undertaker with a casket and the guy would go in there. Like the concept of that game was so on point. And whenever you play that game or go back and play that game, it's just like it still holds up to this day. Amazing, amazing, amazing game. George the Animal Steel. Yeah. I have two old Stone Cold and Kurt Angle figures that are still in the package. And the Kurt Angle one has a couple belts, and it's like some like SmackDown series, like right when he was peaking, like in the mid to late 90s. Those are always cool. And then the one Rock is, it doesn't look like any Rock figure that WWE put out. It's like when the SmackDown first got the name and they were starting to do shows on SmackDown. If you guys remember how popular that was, like in late 90s, early 2000s, when they were competing with like WCW Thunder for being like that second show that was better. He's like, you have Nitro and you have Raw and you're competing. But you wanted to be like, okay, who's better, SmackDown or Thunder? And then at that point, so packaging on those figures were really, really cool. Lots of cool stuff was available to purchase back then. Marty Jannetty. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers. Oh, the Body Donnas. See, it's just cool whenever I see like old school names. It's like when I see old school wrestling names, it hits just as hard as like a basketball, baseball, football jobber, or if they were good. Like just being able to name drop and have those memories as a kid, or I was one of those kids that like I didn't have cable, so I had to have a VHS. I would go to Bi-Mart, like have the allowance money, get the expensive one. That was like 10 hours or 6 hours, and then give it to my friend. They would record like Nitro, and then that way I would get it and then I would watch. But you're going to be able to keep up with stuff like that. Yeah. I was just saying, I got, some, I'm a toy collector, so I even got some of like the thumbs, and stuff. Like if you go old school, with the Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog. It was crazy because I just ended up refinding these just a little while ago, but the Junkyard Dog has no eyeballs, so he must have been in his mind. But I like the vintage stuff. The stuff that's like from the 80s, that's old, or early 90s, like the Andre the Giant. He's throwing Hogan or somebody. All right, Stream 1, Carolina. Got a lot of wrestling photos up in the stream also, which is always good. Less than 9 minutes to go. You need a goal here within the next 3 minutes to give yourself a chance to maybe pull this out. All right, Devils. Hey, yo. I like have, sometimes I'll have memories about the guys that aren't that, as popular, and I think people will vibe with me too, because it's like, sometimes it's not all about the Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior or Ric Flair or, Luger, sometimes it's about Bam Bam Bigelow. Sometimes it's cooler about Vader, and sometimes it's like those types of, memories. Like, you don't have to be the guy that's necessarily the most physically fit. There's going to be other people that, you'll have those memories, in those generations and whatnot. Like, I love Legion of Doom and, Hawk and Animal, but there's other, ones like Demolition and the Bushwhackers and many, many others that you'll still have an appreciation of, back in the day. I always like seeing old school Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow footage. That's some of my favorite stuff to see from like back in the day. Or if they would do Japan stuff or together. Four on four. Less than 8 minutes to go. Come on, Devils. And like Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. I don't know why I got so many memories of fucking Sid Vicious and Psycho Sid, but I have a figure. So, and not very many people own a Psycho Sid or a Sid Vicious figure from either the WCW or the WWF days. But I think a lot of people, if you watched, you have some, if you watched in that era. I like the rare and obscure guys that were still kind of popular, but, not a lot of people collected their stuff. Roddy Piper. Nice. Well, I got a vintage Roddy Piper in my shoebox. I'll bust it out. I only have one Roddy Piper too. Only one. It's like from around the same time as that Andre the Giant one. I think like 1989, 1990. So almost 35, getting closer to that 40-year range. And obviously, being here in Oregon, we are famous for a few, with like Piper and Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, the Portland Wrestling. I would rather watch like Superstars, even if it was like Hulk Hogan versus Mike Smith, and it was like a squash match of 1 minute. But back when you were a kid and you were eating cereal and sitting on the floor playing with your toys, you didn't give a fuck. You knew Mike Smith was getting his ass kicked. You just wanted to watch Hulk Hogan. It didn't matter. But there was some Portland wrestling stuff. But at the time, if you grew up in like the 80s and 90s, you had no time for Portland wrestling. It was all fucking WWF. And then WCW, and then ECW. The Piper figure is like in pretty mint condition too. Still does the motion. You pull his arm back, and then there's a little uppercut action and stuff. a personality, and I love the WWE special they did with a daughter, where they like go over a lot of his memorabilia and his like jackets and other stuff. You know, she gets emotional, but it's cool to be able to see it in different places. Whether it be like a WWE Hall of Fame display, or if they haven't. But some stuff is cool that you get to see it if you're a fan. Yeah, it's cool to be able to see the different like heel and face turns in a guy's career, you know, as they change and evolve, and if they get to keep the name or not. I'm a big Razor Ramon, Scott Hall guy. I don't, you know, like with all the guys that I grew up watching since the early 80s, you know, there was only two that kind of hit me. Macho Man and then this guy. Hey, yo. Yeah, did not like to hear that he was struggling so much, and you know, now he's with the wrestling gods, Chico. Let me see if I can dig out that. Let me dig out Roddy Piper. Funny, Roddy Piper was on top. Good old Piper. Let me see what year it's from. $1991. The Piper, the hot rod. Pretty man. Got a little ding, you know, from probably getting smashed in the chest. But you know, and you got to make sure that the toys, if you know, because some aren't going to function, they're broken or they're going to click. So when you're as a collector, you know, these little simple motions, and any kid in the 80s and 90s will tell you these figures of any kind, wrestling, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Turtles, anything that actually does something when you pull some, you know, arm or leg or whatever. I mean, this is what life's about. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand toys. They don't make toys like this anymore, and that's why they're so valuable. That's why people love stuff from the 80s and 90s. Everything gets copied from the 80s and 90s. Stranger Things is about the 80s. Boom Shakalaka, Roddy Piper. That's what it's about. Like when you have figures that are loose, you have to make sure you're enjoying the fruits of the labor and going back to your childhood and remembering, you know, if you had this figure or how you'd smash up the other ones if you had this one. Piper. Pretty good condition. Mint. And it still works. That's a big thing. You don't want to buy a figure that's fucked up and that doesn't work. Like the quality of the figures now compared to the stuff back then, it doesn't even compare. So there's just so many more valuable, epic series with Transformers and Turtles and G.I. Joes and shit that was out. I mean, even the shit that wasn't the most popular is still worth like a hell of a lot more than anything in the 90s and now. Like if anyone's got like Ghostbuster fucking shit, you got Ghostbuster toys from the 80s, those are going to be worth than, you know, way more than anything else in the 90s and beyond. Like you just have to, if you had any of that stuff from like 80s, you're rich. That toy era was the most valuable. You collected from the 70s to 1989 or 80 to 89. Yeah, you're rich. You're a rich guy as long as you didn't open them all. 3-1 Carolina. Star Wars, wrestling figures, G.I. Joes, Turtles, Transformers. I mean, it's game over. not including the Ghostbusters, or we're not even talking He-Man. And then you have that. Golly, lots of value. I mean, we need time travel, so I can just grab all those. Yeah, the blue cage. Everyone misses the blue cage. It gives you those memories, you know. And it's like they need to understand that we need to go back to that. It doesn't always have to be like moving forward with this design or that design and making it look like 2024. Like sometimes recreating those old memories, you know, even if it's modern day, but they do with the blue, then it'll be a little bit more nostalgic, you know, and there'll be more people paying attention. Just little subtle details like that. Yeah, ECW and the FMW and all the Japanese crossover stuff, exploding barbed wire, blood everywhere matches. Yeah, once you watch stuff like that, then it's like any other wrestling is very tame. Like WWF, punch, kick, leg drop, pin. WCW, better ring, more of the legends. You know, but if you want like hardcore wrestling, you know, ECW had the lower names, but the greater hardcore craziness that you've never seen before. RVD. Sabu. I love G.I. Joe. Shit, I still watch the cartoon almost every day. They got a fucking Hasbro channel that plays it 24/7. So at any given moment, I can just flip that on, and then it's in an episode. It's like an ending loop of G.I. Joe in the 80s. Yes, please. Like, let me just go back into my childhood from like all the way, you know, with the G.I. Joes and watching that. It's just epic. All right, running out of time. 3-1. I mean, at least you got one, and it wasn't 3-0 for the Devils fans that were watching on Twitter/X, as well as a few in the room. I mean, a lot of us have, it just depends on how long ago you've been, you know, watching and what pay-per-views, and, you know, for me and for some of us, it's, you know, probably 70s, 80s, and then obviously going into the 90s. The Honky Tonk Man era. Many different eras. Less than 2 minutes to go. Empty net. Yeah, RVD stuff. I don't even really count any of the RVD stuff he did in WWF/WWE, because that's not who RVD was. If you really want to see what RVD was, you have to watch RVD at his peak, you know, in ECW. And to really fully understand like what that guy was bringing, that promotion, and the athleticism, bar none, no one was on that level. It was incredible. Oh, less than a minute to go. I mean, yes, there was some like RVD matches that were like okay, but I mean, it's not the same as doing Van Daminators and Van Terminators, and you're seeing chairs flying off other guys' foreheads going into the 8th row, and then RVD's doing like a front flip into the first 4 rows, landing on like 4 people. You're not getting that at a WWF or WWE show. So it's like having a guy that's a 10 wrestler having to tame his shit down to like appropriate like viewing level. So then he ends up wrestling like at a 7, which comes across as like a 5 or 6. It's not pretty. For some people, it was amazing. It was the most coolest thing that they've ever seen, unless you actually watched him in his prime. Then it makes the WWF shit look like crap. Like, if I can't see Van Daminators, Van Terminators, him doing all his vintage, moves, then it's like I'm not actually watching a real match of his. Jesper Bratt with a goal! Boom, shakalaka! A little bit of faith for the Devils fans in the room. Look at that. There's only 1 second left. I have no joke, I have a Case Logic and I have like almost every ECW DVD that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like I all right here. I got the RVD special. RVD one of a kind, dual DVD. Two MFWs from Japan. 7 ECW DVDs. CyberSlam. Hardcore History. Heatwave 98. Barely Legal. Deep Impact. Path of Destruction. Extreme Evolution. 3, 2. Hey. I didn't think they would score with like that much time left. I like that, Odin. Fire, 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 fire. I like that. Well, we knew they weren't going to win, but at least they, it might have been kind of a cheap one right there at the end, but at least they got something. 3-2 is a hell of a lot better than 3-0. Not ideal, but we're going to do the Kraken tomorrow. We are going to do the Kraken and the Blues tomorrow. There you go. And it's at 7 Pacific, so it's a little late. So we'll be doing that. Okay, we'll transition from Devils. Boom, Kraken. Boom, Bowie. Okay. We'll figure out how that ends up. And hopefully we can end up getting a competitive matchup and hopefully a dub. And then Royal Rumble. Can't wait. That's going to be really fun. And AFC NFC Championship game. So a very fun couple days as we go these next 3 days. Very excited about it. And then we'll grind it out. So that's the schedule. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Kraken against the Blues at home. Boom. Show up. And boom. After that, Royal Rumble, 5 o'clock. Show up. And then we'll do AFC and NFC Championship game back-to-back, no rest. Show up, hang out, and it'll be a fun time. So I appreciate you guys. Love you. I appreciate all the people that watched on Twitter/X, all the people that donated, commented, shared. I appreciate you. And I wish that they were able to put up a little bit more of a fight. But, Hurricanes being Hurricanes, they got the best of you. Final score, Carolina Hurricanes 3, New Jersey Devils 2. And we will be back tomorrow. Kraken and Blues. New world order. Hogan. Paul Nash. Xbox 6. Razor. There you go. And we'll be back. And I appreciate everyone that came through. Love you, and I appreciate you. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Okay.